One of the easiest ways of providing a website for students to support your class is to use one of the common blogging systems to make a class blog. My example is at blazingfruit.tumblr.com. Have a look and see what you think. There are three main blogging systems available, lots of little ones. I've chosen to use Tumblr because it's very simple and straightforward to use. WordPress.com gives you rather more facilities, and Blogger is an all-time classic which is run by Google and is consequently very reliable. A website that you provide through a blog is public access, it's open, there are no passwords, you don't have to fiddle around teaching students how to navigate a VLE. They just go straight there when you give them the address. The blog is yours and it carries on running when you finish the course that you're on now, and it'll carry on running if you change college. It can also act as quite a good advert for your skills if you put a bit of time and effort into it. Most blogging systems don't allow you to upload files. Really, a blog shouldn't be used to store PowerPoints or handouts. The idea of a blog, really, to me, is that you can provide students with web links to other websites where other people have done the work and where they've provided interactive content that you can select and evaluate and present to your students very simply. It's much easier to put links on a blog and then tell the students where the blog is than to try and produce handouts with web links on, which they always type wrong and get into a pickle with. My blogs take around half an hour a week to maintain, if it's a weekly published blog. Really, the blog is focusing people at websites, so you need to be doing a bit of web searching and you need to be finding materials that are appropriate to your study, but that'll help anyway. The value added for your students is that you've selected the page exactly of the kind that they need for that week. You've done the searching for them. A colleague of mine's been using a chemistry blog now for about 3 years, and he's quite happily recycling stuff he found in the first year. The students think he's doing loads of work for them. This video is featuring the tumblr.com blogging system. So the first thing to do is visit tumblr.com. I've chosen that one because it's very simple and very easy to get started with. You'll need an email address that's working. You'll need to think up a password, preferably different to other passwords you've got. And you'll need to think of a word to use in the address of your blog. You may remember my example was blazingfruit.tumblr.com. That doesn't actually mean anything, but it's easy to remember. You might want to pick one that's relevant to your subject. It depends. When you get to tumblr.com, just click on where it says sign up and you should see something like this. There's a space to put an email address, a space to put a password, and a space to put that all-important word that defines part of your email, of the web address of your blog. So the first thing you do is type an email address in. It ought to be a working email address. The second thing you do is think of your password. Preferably stick a few numbers and a couple of capital letters in there just to make it harder to guess. Don't use a password you're already using for your online banking system. And thirdly, this bit might be quite tricky. You've got to think of a word that will form part of the web address. Notice that www isn't in the web address. All the blogs at tumblr.com will have .tumblr.com on the end. When you've thought of an appropriate word, see how mine has no spaces and I've used hyphens. You click on where it says sign up and start posting. If you've picked a word for your address that somebody else has already got, you'll have a warning and you'll have to go back and think of another one. If all goes according to plan, you should see the dashboard, which looks a little bit like this. One of the things I like about Tumblr is that there are different categories of entry or post that you can have in your blog. You can have text, photographs, quotes, links, chat, audio and video. Wouldn't advise using the chat system because most colleges will block it. Audio depends on Flash 9, as I found to my cost. A lot of colleges don't have Flash Player 9 installed yet. Notice that at the top of the dashboard is the web address to your public side of your blog. That's the one you have to give to the students. When you've posted a few things on Tumblr, you have a chance to change the template that's used to publish the public part of the website. And you reach that by clicking on where it says account and then selecting preferences. You might want a different page layout, you might want big chunky type, you might want to change the colours. When you've finished adding content, it's always a good idea to log out, especially on shared computer systems. It just prevents the possibility of a student adding some humorous posts to your blog. And that's basically about it. Do send us the address of anything you set up. I'd be interested to see what you do with it.